What's up, guys? This is FreakEng. Hey, welcome back to the ChristianClash Podcast. This is FreakEng and Baron Von Spee here with you again. Why don't you say hello?
Hey, good afternoon, everybody.
It's good to have you back. We have a couple exciting things to talk about for the clan. Once again, episode 3. We have been a clan for, at the time of this recording, has it been 2 weeks now?
Yeah, about 2.5 weeks. I guess it was 2 on Saturday, so...
Yeah, so it's been a good 2.5 weeks. It feels longer than that. Maybe that's just me. But we got some exciting things.
It's been great.
It has been great. And so we got some exciting things going on in the game as far as features. And then we also want to talk about just the status of the clan and then our spiritual discussion group. So those are the 3 things we want to cover. So first up, we're talking about 2v2, and this is a feature that has been kind of teased and then slowly revealed over the course of about a month. And so now we fully know what it's going to be. There have been lots of videos by YouTubers and content creators and even Clash Royale talking about this whole issue or this feature. And so we want to get ahead of it a little bit and just talk about 2v2. So do you have any thoughts, Baron, about this new feature coming up this weekend?
Yeah, a couple of things. Obviously, one of the first things that has been happening is a lot of members are trying to pair up and team up to form partnerships in advance of this coming out later this week. And, my understanding, and you can correct me if I'm wrong on how this is going to work, is that this is going to be a kind of on-the-fly type thing. The way it
absolutely.
works, from what I'm seeing, is that you're going to request a battle. A teammate, a member of the clan, has the opportunity to join that battle, and then it's going to kind of be like Clash of Clans, where it's going to find a pairing or an opposition, an opponent, and team you up at that point in a battle. So it's not as if somebody's online, you could say, hey, hey, Freak, you're online, I'm online too, let's do this, and let's go into a battle. That's great, but just to say you're always going to be my teammate, I don't think that's quite how the 2v2 battle scheme is going to work. Is that about right?
Yeah, I think so. And that's part of what I even said today is there were a few people, like you said, that I was noticing both online and on Clash Royale, just kind of saying, hey, who's your partner going to be? It's, and for me, I think that's going to come about naturally. Maybe there will be some people that we work better with, and we'll figure that out over the course of time.
That's true.
But especially for the first weekend, I just think we're going to have to play with a lot of people and figure out decks and figure out how to, is one person playing offense? Is one person playing defense? Are we kind of complementing? Or is one person more spell heavy? It's going to be a lot of trial and error. And, the YouTubers can try to predict what the meta will be. Like, I think I saw Galadon talk about a rocket meta. And, I don't know. I think it's going to be, once we have these millions of players trying this new mode, it's just going to start happening organically. And so there's not much that you can predict other than just to set up yourself with the expectation to be flexible and to kind of learn with the community and just kind of keep your ear close to the ground with what the strategies are as they come out. You know what I mean?
I think that's absolutely right. I think it's going to develop naturally. I think we'll eventually get to a meta where, certain decks or certain playing styles will be off. People will be upset that, oh my gosh, it's all rocket or it's all spells or whatever the case is. I know there's been a guide that's been released by a lot of the pros. I know Yarn was involved in that, Woody, a couple of others.
Yeah.
I posted that in the line chat. People really should take the time to read it. I think they're right on, although, everything remains to be seen, but I think they're right on. I think cycle decks, I think smallest troops, which, much to my chagrin, because that's kind of the decks that I like and I'm most well-versed at. I think those are going to be weaker just because it's going to be so easy with spells and so much defense and buildings and extra tower shooting at troops than we normally have in a regular 1v1 game. Those decks are going to be on the weak side, whereas they're predicting that, the beatdown decks with Golem and Royal Giant and whatnot, these kinds of decks are going to be a little bit stronger because they've got decks with higher HP troops that can withstand all of the, all the things that are going to be thrown at them in the game. That does make a lot of intuitive sense, and of course it just remains to be seen. But I think the big thing is just going to be communication. Is really setting up before a battle. I would encourage people to talk online, talk in the clan chat, and just say, hey, here's the kind of deck I want to run, or here's the style I want to play. Maybe I'm more offensive minded, you're more defensive minded. Maybe I'm more right side and you're left, or I'm more air and you're ground, or whatever the setup is. And that suggestion, basically, that the guide that was put out by the pros has a lot of that on how to set that up, in advance of the actual battle. But I think communication is going to be key. And I know you, just before we started broadcasting this podcast, you actually opened up the game while we were on this particular phone call.
Yes.
Talk about that experience.
Yeah, no problem. And I wanted to do that because I wanted to just make sure that it worked before we talked about it, and it does. Now, here's a freaking pro tip, and maybe this will be one of the only ones I ever give that isn't like totally stolen from someone else. I think this is going to be original with me, and maybe it's the only one. But if you have the Line app, and I've seen that Clash Royale actually has a partnership with another voice chat app, and so they're trying to get ahead of this, but they're not pushing Line, but it will work with Line. So if you voice chat someone and then you set it to over the speaker, and then you go into Clash Royale, and I would suggest turning off the music, especially if you play with sound. If you don't, then it's no different. But turn off the music at the very least and keep on the sound effects if you're used to playing with music so that you can still respond in that way. But make sure that you have the voice chat up loud enough. Understand there's about half a second or so of lag between what you're saying and what your teammate will hear. And so just keep that in mind, and it'll be a little bit of trial and error getting used to it. But I guarantee that using the Line app over chat is going to revolutionize 2v2, and it's going to make it a lot better to communicate between teammates than it would be if you were just trying to look at the little hovering card that your teammate is looking, which is nice that they added that, but that's not enough to be able to plan ahead and to say, okay, let's both hold off on Elixir for about 3 seconds, reset. I'm going to drop a tank on the left. You know what I mean? You just cannot replace that. And so especially because most of us are across the U.S. or world, the odds of having someone that you play really well with actually physically next to you, for most of us, that's not going to be realistic. And so to use the Line app, please take advantage of that. Do you have anything else to add to that, Baron?
No, I think you were right on. Communication is just going to be the key, but ultimately have fun. And like anything else, let's just have a good time with it. I know there's going to be a learning curve. It's going to be frustrating in the beginning, trying to figure out how this works. And like you said, certain pairs are going to work better than others. But this is just a great way to offer additional fellowship, which of course is a real key for our clan. It's just Christian fellowship. This is just a great way to have fun with other people. Get online, talk to people. Let's work together. You're going to get to know some good people, play some games with them. So I think this is just a great positive thing all the way around.
Absolutely. And that's a great segue into our next section, where we just want to talk about and discuss the status of the clan. We're 2.5 weeks in, and our two main goals really is to be a fellowship and a competitive clan. And that's why we've split it up in those two categories. But even as far as the two categories, our esports and our fellowship, we want fellowship and healthy Christian competition to be throughout, no matter what clan you're in. We just put up the 3 esports clans really just as a distinguisher so that people know those are the ones for people who really care about trophy pushing, who want to really be at the top of their game and be encouraged by other people to be at the top of their game, all for the purpose of having fun. But that element of fellowship, we really want it to be all throughout all of our clans. And one reason why we have the Line app. So what do you think, Baron, if you could just kind of point out a few things about the clan 2.5 weeks in regarding those two things, fellowship and competition?
That's right. Well, those are two real key distinctions. We'll just talk about fellowship first, because obviously that's our main mission of our clan. It's just to encourage people to have great relationships with other Christians and just encourage their Christian walk and their walk of faith. So, obviously that's the main thing we want to do. And so we're going to be focusing in the coming weeks on providing resources for people. One of those things is our spiritual discussion group. If you haven't joined it online, shoot me or Freak a PM, and we'll get you included in that group chat setting. Really, it's just a way for people to ask questions, especially our younger members who have questions about, maybe they've heard somebody at school say something that maybe challenges their faith or makes them have doubts. It's a great setting and atmosphere for people to talk to pastors who are experts, who have studied these things, to be able to say, hey, I've got a question about this, that, and the other. Can you answer it for me? Or I've got a doubt about this. Help reassure me, help give me some verses or instructional study that can help reassure me in my faith about a topic that maybe it's just giving me some concern. So it's just a safe place for people to ask questions, talk about things. We've already had some good discussion and good debate on just some very heavy topics, some biblical topics.
Yeah.
For example, homosexuality was one, but just a good, real, respectful debate talking about where the Bible stands and what people think about it. So it's a great place for people to ask questions, talk about things, come and be challenged or challenge others, but to do it in a good, safe, respectful way. So I encourage you to get involved in that. Again, shoot me a message or Freak a message if you want to get involved in that. So a great thing there. We're going to be doing a lot more in the coming weeks on encouraging fellowship. We're going to be having people that are going to be devoted to prayer requests. We're starting to get a lot more of those. We want to really be a forum for people to pray for each other. It's a great way to foster a positive Christian community. So look for that. A leader or leaders who are fostering prayer requests in the coming weeks. That's going to be a good thing. So a lot of fellowship stuff coming up. And so just want to encourage people that we are moving in that direction. And on the competitive side, definitely something we're looking at. We're going to be putting together a few leaders who can get us into big tournaments, who can get our top players into some leagues and some top league battles. So that's definitely something we're moving in the direction for. So again, look for that down the road. We're going to have people who are going to try and get us into those things. So there's a lot more competition, especially for the top 3 clans. A lot of those guys are really hungry for big tournaments, for league play against other top clans, so we can kind of prove our mettle, prove our worth, that we've got some good players. So definitely look for that coming up.
Yeah, for sure. Just going back to the spiritual discussion group, shout out to John 17:17 for really taking that idea and just running with it and being a great moderator of conversation. He has provided so much insight, but also just making sure that conversations don't get out of hand. He's always gracious and intervenes when he needs to. Although it's great because so far in that discussion group, it has been very, like you said, respectful, full of grace, understanding, recognizing that we have differences even among Christians. And John 17:17 has just been fantastic at leading that group, even providing just some little things to think about just here and there. So just give him a thanks if you see him around the forums. And
Absolutely.
even
And just that brings to mind one thing, if you don't mind me interrupting real quick.
No, yeah, go for it.
Is we are also looking for people to step up and help lead. We're going to have some co-leaders leading in some of these various departments that I talked about. But if you want to assist them, definitely let me know. We'll get you plugged in. There's definitely opportunities for people to be involved, and we want that. And the other thing too is just, as the clan unfolds, like I said, we're only 2 weeks in, so we welcome your suggestions. We welcome input. If you have concerns, I know Mikey did a poll the other day, and I think maybe 10 people or so responded to it about how they feel about the merger. And there were a couple of people who honestly didn't say that they thought it was awesome. I think it was like 8 said it was great so far, and 3 or 4 said they had some concerns or problems, or they thought it was good but not great or whatever. We want to keep an open door policy. So if you have concerns or problems, if you have suggestions or ideas, please let Freak know, let me know. We want to be open for that. We want to make this the best we can be, and you may have just the right idea to make that happen.
Absolutely. And even another way to get involved that I was thinking of, Baron, you mentioned that we're going to have a couple official leaders who are looking for tournaments and more high-level play. But I'd encourage really anyone in our clan can go out and just keep your ear close to the ground on Mob Crush, on Twitter, on Twitch, on all these YouTube, all these different avenues and just kind of throw out, hey, by the way, I just saw that Galadon threw up a 1,000-person tournament. Here's the link. If all of us contribute in that way, even if you're not a leader, even if you're not an elder, you can just be a member of the clan and participate and go above and beyond the call of duty and just say, hey, I saw this, just letting you guys know, for those of you who want to be plugged in and go for this 1,000-card, reward or whatever it is, just go for it and let us know. And that's a huge way to get involved.
Absolutely. I'm over here nodding my head. You can't see me.
Yeah.
Sometime we got to do FaceTime.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, hey, that about wraps us up. Do you have any other closing thoughts?
No, absolutely. I just want to encourage people in their walk with Christ. It's fun. The game is fun. We definitely encourage competition, trophy pushing. We want everybody to do as good as they can and have as much fun as they can. But, at the end of the day, this is about Christ. And we're a Christian clash. Christian comes first, and Christ really comes first. And so just want to encourage people, just get plugged into the Word. Spend some time just learning what God has to tell you. He's got so much to say. If we would just take some time to sit and listen, get plugged into your church, your youth group, and just fellowship with everybody in the clan. Let's just keep this a good, positive Christian atmosphere.
Absolutely. Well, with that, thank you so much for listening to episode 3 of Christian Clash Podcast. This is FreakEng and Baron Von Spee. We will talk to you next time.